It's November 21st, 2018, about 7:30 in the morning. I'm in Vilas County, Wisconsin. I'm hiking in near Alva Lake. I had a reliable tip yesterday given to me that somebody was driving down Camp 2 Road, had a big buck across the road with its jaw shot off. So my plan is to hike in to the west and find Alva Lake. Do a big loop through there, see if I can pick up his track. If not, I'm going to head back to the truck, head down Nixon Lake Road, just to north of Nixon Lake. Same source showed a deer cam with pictures of 2 bucks, big ones, north of Nixon Lake Road. I'm gonna go try to look them up if I can't find this guy or a track. I'll let you know more later. Okay, so it's 8:52. I'm still back behind to the west of Camp 2 Road. And I got on the track. You can see the snow conditions are perfect. The track I got on, a little bit old. There's snow in it. We had a little fresh snow last night, overnight. And there's been a lot of feeding activity in here. There's a lot of deer in here, so I'm just gonna follow this one. I don't know. Doesn't feel the most promising, but it's a decent sized track. A lot of feeding back here in the oaks. The deer kind of come together and then they get all tangled up. So I'm still heading west, and I'm just gonna keep going and see what happens. I'll let you know. Okay, update. Still on this track. It's still old. Still beautiful out here like crazy, but I know this is a buck now. Let me show you what I found. I guess I'm gonna have to turn the camera around. I don't know how to use this dumb thing. Alright, so I'm tracking him, and here's what I found. Fresh shavings on the snow. Busted branch right there. So now that I know this is a buck, I'm going to stay with him. Heading south, he kind of led me out of the highlands down to a spruce bog, and I'm skirting it. He's got to walk on the edge of it, so I'm going to keep after him. He's been pretty much beelining, straight lining, so I'm going to go fast and see if I can catch up with him, see what happens. I'll let you know. Okay, another development. Another rub. Hooked another tree. Fresh bark on the snow. A little bit of snow on top of that. It's been snowing lately, so I mean, we're gonna keep after him and do what Hal would do and try to stay with him. I don't think he's a real big buck. He's been going through some tight areas. But he is making rubs. Not big rubs, but rubs. So I'm gonna keep after him. Still going in a good direction, so I'll give you an update. Alright, so I've got 2 developments. First of all, he had stopped to eat, and there were antler marks in the snow where he stuck his nose down. By the looks of it, he's gonna be about a 15, maybe a 16-inch spread. And then a little further down that eating spot, I found a bed, and now he's jumping, jump tracks. The bed was still, didn't have any snow in it. And when I pushed my foot down on it, it was wet. You know, there was moisture, dampness, water underneath, so it tells me that I just jumped him recently, heard me probably coming. And I'm gonna give him a little time, like Hal says to do. I'm gonna eat a sandwich, and then I'm gonna get back on him, let him settle down a little bit. All right, I'll let you know. 10:18. I let them go for about 20 minutes. It's cold, only about 15 degrees. I'm getting chilled, so I'm gonna go off after them. It's been a little bit of time here. It means I'm close, so I'll give you an update if something happens. All right, over and out. Right. Since I last was on, I jumped some deer, and one was running off, and I took a shot at it. I don't think it was the buck though. I think it was another doe. I went and looked for blood, found the bed. His track went off in a different direction. So the lesson is, don't shoot unless you see horns. My bad. There was no blood though, so I missed. So I followed him some more. He came up a steep hill ridge, and then he turned back, doubled back on himself along the top of the ridge, and stood in an opening. He stood right here, and he was watching for me to walk through down below the hill where he came up. He's cagey, and he's a nice track. Here, I'll show you his tracks. Right here is where he stood, so I'm gonna keep going. He's going back along the ridge, heading east now. I'll give you an update in a while. Right, here we are, 2:22. It's been quite the afternoon. I was on the deer, felt good about the track. Then I got in, tied up with some other deer, and some oaks and some does, and I was pretty sure that I lost him. I didn't know where he was, and I got mixed in. Couldn't tell if it was track I was following, jump tracks, blah blah blah. So I kept going and going, and finally I cut another set on the one I was following, and it turned out to be him again. Big track, single track, long stride. That's the way I could follow him, was a stride so long compared to the other deer. So I come up over the top of that area over there, and lo and behold, I look ahead and he's jumping. Standing and jumped a couple times. Shot 4 or 5 times at him. Didn't think I hit him, but I got blood. So I'm gonna track him, and I'll let you know what happens. Good luck. Over and out. It's almost like he went west, and then he went north, and then he's been coming back east all afternoon. I feel like I'm almost back to where the car's parked, which Hellblood talked about that happening to him too. So I'm gonna shut this off and go see if I can find him. So here it is, Saturday of deer season, November 22nd, I think, 23rd maybe. 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days after I got my deer. And last time I made a video, I was in the woods. I think I had just said about the shot that I had taken. Saw the deer jump up. Got some shooting at it. Maybe I mentioned that I was on a blood trail too. Well, I recovered the deer, I got the deer, but I realized I never finished the story. So I stayed on the blood trail, tracked it, spraying blood, and got to a spot where the deer had a weird drag mark with in the trail, in the track, and so I was stopping, looking at the blood, and kind of just seeing which direction he went, when all of a sudden the deer jumped up from some balsams and ran. So I took off running after it to try to get a clear lane for a shot. I could see it was dragging a hind leg. Turns out I had shot it in the hind leg, and it was not able to move very well, and that was the bleeding too. Pretty significant wound. Would have died had I not recovered it. Anyway, it dove through some balsams to where I couldn't see it, So I snuck on the trail through, looked down 40 yards, and the deer was laying down, head up, struggling, but couldn't get up to run. And so I shot at it, trying to put it out from about 45 yards through the woods. Didn't want to walk up to it because I figured it would get up and run away. So I shot, its head was still up, shot again, looked like it's humped over. So when I repositioned slightly, I saw it lurching to get up and run away, so it was still alive and able to move. Shot again, looked, and its head was still up. So now I'm down to my last bullet. So I was breathing real hard from doing the run that I did, about a 40-yard dash. So I positioned on my knee, leaned, took as good of an aim as I could at the body, laying on the ground, shot again. Again, I thought I saw its head go down, but when I repositioned and looked, its head was still up and it was still alive. So now I'm out of bullets, and I don't have any in the car either, and I'm somewhere in the middle of the woods. So I had two options. One, I could go and try to knife it. The other one would be to pull out, let it rest, let it die, hopefully, and make my way back to the car, go get more ammo, and then make my way back in, which is what I ended up doing. I left the deer. Took about 25 minutes to get back to the car from where I was. Drove back to the shed, got ammo, went back. When I left the deer, it was roughly, I don't know, 3 o'clock or so, 3:15. Got back to the spot about, I don't know, 10 to 4 o'clock, and went to where I had shot and looked, and I saw the deer's head was back and laying down, but it was still alive, still breathing. But at that point, I was able to walk up to it and, kill it, put the finishing shot into it where it died. So I wish I had taken some footage in the woods, but I have the deer here. I'll show it to you. It's kind of a successful end to the story. Turns out it was a 9-pointer. Pretty good body size. I'm guessing it was a 2.5-year-old, maybe a 3.5-year-old deer. So it was a great story. Rewarding hunt. The fact that I was able to track it all day and end up catching up to it at the end. Let's see if I can turn this around. I don't think there's a way to turn this around, so I'm gonna stop this video and then I'll just take a little bit more footage of the deer where I can kind of see what's going on. So that's it. First hunt, getting a deer, tracking. All right, so here's the deer again. By myself, so I don't have anyone to take pictures of it. I guess you can see it okay. Nice buck. Rewarding hunt. Taking it into Eagle River to get it processed now. I'll have to tell the story. Billy came over. So today's Saturday. Billy was here yesterday and Friday. Still has a buck tag. So we went back to the same general area, went down a different road that I had found, and we decided to look for a track. Ended up finding a track, and it was a big track, bigger than this guy's track. Great day. I'll relay the story in my journal. But tracked it, I don't know, by rough estimate, as the crow flies, I would say it was between 8 and 10 miles. We followed that deer all day, almost lost it a couple times, stayed with it, found it again. Jumped it once. It was standing in a thick balsam patch about 20 yards away when we walked up. It tore out of there. All I saw was the hind quarter of it. Billy saw the body, and he said he saw one antler. So he said it was a really nice antler. So it was a decent buck. We're thinking by the age, or by the track size and the characteristics, it probably was a 4.5-year-old deer or older. So a mature buck. Never ended up catching it. It
led us all the way back down to the hemlocks behind White Birch Village on the other side of White Birch Lake. Before we ran out of daylight, it was 4:35 when we gave the track up there. So good, great day, fun track. So check my journal.